welcome to Ask Dr. Testosterone, starring Dr. George Touliatos. He is the author of Bodybuilding, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. That is available at his website, gtoul.com, as well as amazon.com. Joining us all the way now from Athens, Greece, Dr. George Touliatos. Doctor, it was so good to meet you, and I finally met you in real life.
Yes. You and Giles, and we had lunch, and we also had other funny times during the Olympia. I took pictures of you with Flex Wheeler. We had with Hanny Rambert, and after the prejudging, yes, I had a picture with you by talking to Luke Shadow to meet the Olympians, and I also had the opportunity to had two photographs with the current Mr. Olympia. One at the meeting the Olympians, where I showed him my column on the muscular development. He was on the cover also.
Yeah.
And I promised him that in case you win the Olympia, I'm going to give you my book. So I rushed into the States right after the Olympia. I did a very fast inscription, and I gave it to you. Take it, it's yours.
Wow.
And he grabbed it, and I had a picture with him holding my book on stage.
Wow.
Yes, I have this picture. And this is an achievement of a lifetime. And the day after, it was the third picture at the seminar. And I told him anything you need, I'm at your service, and I hope that I can help you in anything. And of course, you can talk about me to your people.
Yeah.
So what I realized is that Brandon is a humble man. He's not cocky, he's not arrogant, and mostly what I saw from a video. He was talking to children. He's a real true ambassador of the sport, because this is what a true champion should represent: to be humble, down to earth, and be an ambassador, and try to show to the youth that this sport is about hard working, disciplined work. Never give up, and you can achieve anything you want if you believe to yourself. So this is something very important in order bodybuilding to become, again, a mainstream sport. Not instead of being a cocky, arrogant steroid user that has been roid rage or whatever. So yes, he has to be more approachable. And I like Brandon Carey because he's really communicating, and he's a good guy. He gives a good aura, positive feedback.
Yeah, he's always got a smile on his face. Takes time for all his fans. He's a good guy.
So I asked him at the seminar, "What are your plans? Are you intending to remain in the Kuwait or return to the States?" And as far as I remember, he said that he's preparing just for 8 weeks in Kuwait.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's a long time to be away. 2 months.
2 months, yeah. But I guess this is the cutting phase, because during the off season, he would do it somewhere else.
Yeah, I mean, he's got 3 kids or 4 kids. I think it's 3.
Yeah. They're all of his family here were surprising him on stage.
Yeah. So I mean, I would stay home too as much as possible if I had 3 young kids. So I think he wants to be home as much as possible.
Yeah.
But, he's
got sold out arena. Dan Solomon said it was sold out arena. The show was spectacular. It was really wow.
Yeah, that was your first Olympia.
Yeah, my first Olympia. Yeah.
So I thought they did.
Was hilarious.
Yeah. It's different. People always talk about how it's different when you see like Bob Chick always says, it's different in person.
Yes, that's true. It's the same as watching a basketball game or a soccer game. Everybody becomes a judge from his cell phone or from the TV set. But being live there, you can see how they breathe, how they sweat. So you can see every detail that just photographs cannot describe.
Yeah. But you do have to be seated pretty close up front to really get a good view.
Sure, yes, but we also have the screen walls,
We did. But I always say at a bodybuilding show, I want to be up front. I don't want to watch it.
I was able during the prejudging to sit in the 5th row.
Yeah, nice.
And I had a pretty good look that gave me the idea that I was able to criticize things pretty fair. And Samir Benot was sitting next to me, and we said, "Look at this, look at that."
Yeah. Who did he like? Did he like Brandon for the win?
Who?
Did Samir think Brandon was the rightful winner?
Samir believed that Hadi Chopin had the best separation, which is of course something true.
Yeah.
Very thin skin, very good definition and hardness, but he was lacking on the V-taper because of his midsection. Also, on the mass department, he was just 100 kilograms.
I mean, he looked
less mass than William Bonnet. And of course, Brandon Carey has the best mass, but he had excellent V-taper and pretty good separation also.
Yeah. I mean, I thought Hadi probably had the best legs up there.
Who?
Hadi, I think Hadi had the best quads up there for sure.
His calves were weaker than his. They were not proportional to the quads.
Yeah, that you see that a lot.
His quads were amazing.
Absolutely. All right, doctor. We've missed the show, so you want to get to some questions?
Yeah, sure.
We have one very long question. The guy gave you a lot of details about his blood work. So here we go. Hi, doctor. I'm on a TRT dosage of plus or minus 60 milligrams enanthate per 3 days, but I blasted last spring using 750 milligrams enanthate and 200 milligrams boldenone per week. I ended my cycle somewhere around half June, got my blood test on July 9th. I expected some elevation in triglycerides, but that seemed to be okay. What caught my attention was the elevation in gamma GT. I learned that an elevation in gamma GT usually is a result of alcoholism or the use of medicine. I don't drink, so I guess the elevation in gamma GT could be a side effect of the cycle I did previously. Am I correct in my assumption? Do I need to worry about the elevation, or am I to expect that to correct itself over several weeks? If not, what can I do to get gamma GT levels down? For your information, I share the results of my blood test here. Can you shed any light on these numbers? I'll just run through these. Glucose is 5.0. HbA1c was 36. HB was 9.4. Thrombocytin 219, 109. Triglyceridin 0.73. LDL cholesterol 3.88. HDL cholesterol 1.23. Total cholesterol 5.44. Creatinine 110, alanine aminotransferase, ALAT 62, aspartate aminotransferase 41, gamma glutamyltransferase, gamma GT 106, elevated. Blood pressure systolic 117, diastolic 75. Weight, he didn't put that. Body mass index 25, okay. So he's 25 and a half, 6 kilograms? No, that doesn't sound right.
The body mass index 25, yes.
Body mass index. Okay, so he gave you a lot of information. I've never really been too aware of this gamma GT value.
Yeah, GGT is a cholestatic enzyme along with ALP, which is alkaline phosphatase. Okay. Now, those enzymes, they certainly elevate during cholestatic disease along with bilirubin that produces the jaundice effect, which is yellowish coloring of the sclera eye and the skin. And you also have itching. And this is due to the fact bile is not directed into the biliary duct to the gallbladder, but there is occlusion of the biliary ducts. Therefore, you have jaundice, and this actually it's intrahepatic liver disease. It happens in liver cirrhosis occurring under alcoholism, but it's also something that means intrahepatic liver disease that is not always accompanied by liver enzymes elevation or ALT, AST, or SGOT, SGPT. Now, in this case, what I suggest is to use TUDCA, which are bile salts, bile acids actually, that are able to lower GGT and cholestasis jaundice. And I want to ask if this guy, if he has also yellowish of the skin and the eye sclera.
Yeah.
But TUDCA is the only supplement promising in his case to lower GGT, bilirubin, and ALP. What I also noticed from his blood work is his slight dyslipidemia, so the elevation of LDL and total cholesterol. That's our classic deviations as a result of steroid use. Therefore, he can use either statins or these alternative supplements such as red rice yeast phytosterols, omega-3, 69, EFAs, a healthy Mediterranean diet, good fats, and avoid saturated fat and trans fat in order to lower LDL and total cholesterol. Now, triglycerides are lowered by omega-3 fish oil, DHA and EPA. And what else?
Well, let me ask you this, doctor. This is a liver. It's a liver value that was elevated, right?
Yes.
So he wasn't on any oral compounds. It was just
No,
injectables.
no, but I'm not sure what his profile was before the steroid use. So maybe his liver he had a fatty liver disease. I'm not sure about it. You know, you can see this through an ultrasound hepatic
Okay.
to see if you have a non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. So store fat within hepatocytes in between them,
Yeah.
or any kind of infection, viral infection, for instance, hepatitis A, B, or C.
Hmm.
You know, this also causes liver disease.
Right.
Or Epstein-Barr virus is another form of virus infection, viral infection that elevates GTT.
Okay. All right. Well, I hope that was helpful to this gentleman. Here we go. Can you discuss bodybuilding uses of metformin for non-diabetics? I've heard of it being used by bodybuilders, but I'm unable to find much information online about it.
Metformin is used for age management purposes, also lowering insulin resistance and insulin resistance by elevated A1C that is caused by abuse of growth hormone. However, if you use alongside growth hormone and metformin, you hinder some of the growth effects of growth hormone because it lowers mTOR, the metabolic pathway of muscle growth and the rapamycin.
Hmm.
And that's why I suggest to use metformin between the cycles of growth hormone and not alongside. Instead of metformin, you can use berberine instead. That has the same effects. Also, metformin lowers B12 vitamin, cobalamin,
Hmm.
and give you GIT, destruction, bloating, and diarrhea.
Hmm.
But metformin is used usually for age management purposes because it elevates a protein called AMPK that it's increasing longevity. On the other hand, mTOR and this protein AMPK are one versus the other. So increasing of mTOR may hypothetically lead to cell proliferation and cancer, cell proliferation of muscle cells, for instance. Or the other way, starvation and metformin mimic the effect of caloric restriction and elevate AMPK that leads to longevity.
Hmm.
So abusing growth hormone and also leucine does the same, elevate mTOR. Metformin is a drug that may lower insulin resistance, but as I told you, it shouldn't be used along the growth hormone, but after the growth hormone. And if you're using growth hormone for quite a while, you might notice a slight elevation of glycemic hemoglobin A1C because it induces insulin resistance.
Hmm.
Okay, the growth hormone is diabetogenic, and metformin is against diabetes, so it improves insulin resistance. You know.
Okay.
Yes.
But it sounds like it always lowers mTOR, metformin.
It does. It does. Yes, it does.
So it's
And
gonna
some people claim IGF-1 also.
jeopardize your gains.
Perhaps. Perhaps.
Hmm. All right, stay away from metformin, everybody. That's just my
Berberine.
not.
You can use berberine and chromium.
Okay,
They do the same.
and those are not going to affect mTOR.
No.
Okay, so there you go. Forget about metformin, guys. What would Dr. T recommend for insomnia when in contest prep, and drugs as well as supplements? Also, more in-depth video on the final 2 weeks of prep. Well, that'll be another video. That's a good idea for a video. Contest
Yes.
prep.
Well, insomnia is due to several reasons. First of all, during the pre-contest, we overtrain. This elevates cortisol and adrenaline, noradrenaline, the catecholamines, the stress hormones.
Mm.
Now, stress is accompanied by insomnia. Okay, especially when cortisol is elevated at night when it should be low. Now, another factor is caloric restriction and maybe low carb. Low carbs lower serotonin. Now, if you want to get sleep, we have to use 5-HTP that is converted to serotonin, and serotonin is also released after a carb meal. That's why we get sleepy, and also our mood improves. So in order to, a nice trick in order to fall asleep, and this is what Dorian Yates also suggested, is to have a soup spoon of oatmeal And by these 20 grams of carbohydrates, we may get easier to sleep because of serotonin release.
Hmm.
I remember myself when I was going with a low carb dinner, I could hardly fall asleep. I don't say that we have to eat a ton of carbs before going to bed, but a little bit will make it easier for us to fall asleep than going on an empty stomach with just protein.
Yeah.
Also, the tons of steroids we're using affect the CNS, okay? This is part either of the roid rage, as you call it, or, yes, the stimulants also we use in order to burn fat affect us.
Yeah.
They have a certain half-life, so if we train at 6 in the afternoon, then we're screwing up the night sleep because they have a certain half-life that get out of the system after midnight and we cannot fall asleep. I remember myself, I was falling asleep at 4 a.m. Honestly, it was so hard for me. Of course, I was not working back then, but it was horrible time and all the stress, it's different to work out just for the beach and having a contest, because in a contest you it's like an examination. You have the results and you're fearing of disappointment, of course, and failure.
All right.
So it's all these factors that contribute to insomnia. I suggest to use a combination of sleeping enhancers such as melatonin, 5-HTP, GABA, magnesium, all right, and perhaps also valeriana that is a stress reliever. So now 5-HTP is 5-hydroxytryptophan. It's better than using simple tryptophan. It metabolizes faster to serotonin. Serotonin induces sleep, and also serotonin improves the mood. GABA is a neurotransmitter, gamma aminobutyric acid, that 1 gram or 1.5 gram are able to start to introduce you to sleep. But above 2 grams, you're going to have itching effects that are nasty, resembling niacin. And magnesium is a skeletal muscle relaxant. So after a workout, magnesium will make you feel smooth and be after massage and be able to. Also, very important is to shut off any apparatuses, electric apparatus devices.
Oh, good luck.
So iPhones, PCs, TVs, okay, TV sets, and also don't be the room temperature should be below 70 to be cool, okay, not warm. Maybe also a hot shower in order to relax the muscle. Yes, and back then they used to say in the early years you have to drink milk. This is because of tryptophan that also and calcium that contains the milk, and it's able to make you relax. But personally, I use 4 agents: melatonin, 5-HTP, GABA, and magnesium. All right. And stop talking on the phone 1 hour before because it may upset you.
Well, I mean, everyone's glued to their phone. That's a problem. Is most people don't put their phone down until the minute they're going to sleep. Basically,
you can have the filter, the blue filter, and you can also minimize the intensity of the light.
That's true. What about someone that's really having a hard time? Would it be okay for them to get on something like Ambien or Lunesta, prescription sleeping pills?
Or diazepam, barbiturate. Yes, Valium, yes.
A lot of guys go with Xanax too.
Xanax, yeah, but these are addictive drugs. I have tried them, and they're horrible. Yeah, they withdraw.
You'll sleep like a baby, but then you need them every damn night. That's a problem. Okay. I have a question for Dr. T. Are AAS helping with bone mineral density if one has a lowered bone density that's not caused just by aging? How do AIs play into this, and what role could GH and IGF-1 play for bones? Is a typical bodybuilder cycle helping the bones to get stronger?
Yes, that's a good question. As a matter of fact, AAS contribute to, they help against osteopenia, osteoporosis, and low bone mineral density by improving the calcium reabsorption in the renal tubules. Especially nandrolone does this. So nandrolone should be prescribed after bone fractures or under osteoporosis, for instance. But more or less, all steroids are the same. This is why they may also lead to calcium score under prolonged abuse. Now, AIs do the opposite. They lower estrogens, and estrogens are very important for bone health, that have an effect on bone mineral density. So abusing also AIs will lead to bone fraction and also pain in the bones.
Hold on a second. Is that why older women, because they have lower estrogen, is that why
Yes,
they have brittle bones and
absolutely,
they're
yes.
always breaking their
After
hips?
menopause, they have osteoporosis, and they should be supplemented with D3 vitamin along with calcium, both of them. Now, in order to produce D3, you have to eat cholesterol because it's a steroid molecule, D3, calciferol, and a prohormone also. Plus, you need UV, all right? And under these cases, you are able to absorb calcium. Otherwise, it's not absorbed. Now, those who abuse steroids, they should use K2 vitamin along with D3 in order to prevent accumulation of calcium in the endothelium and direct it straight to the bone tissue, just to the bones. Okay, so D3 K2 combination.
Okay.
And D3 has to be, another fact, has to be used after a fatty meal or after any meal and food stuff, because only fat, it's a fat soluble, it's absorbed only under the presence of fat. Okay, so drinking with water D3 doesn't help.
Or eating it with a very, very lean meal probably wouldn't even be a good idea.
A lean meal, we have 5 grams of fat at least,
I
so
guess.
it's okay. The same goes with vitamin E, also vitamin A, and all the EFAs and CLA. They are absorbed with fat, preferably. Now, about IGF-1 and growth hormone, they also affect and they contribute to a better bone health. Okay, and both androgen and estrogens are responsible for proper bone health. That's why steroids also improve bone mineral density, but estrogens also improve it. And there was a paper on PubMed that showed deficiency of growth hormone and IGF-1 was leading to low bone mineral density. So basically, a bodybuilder without abusing the the aromatase inhibitors will never have a bone fracture.
Oh, wow.
For two reasons: because he used the perfect drugs for this, and also the perfect exercise, resistance training, and also for third reason, he has a perfect diet, rich in calcium and rich in vitamin D.
Right on.
It's very rare to have a bone fraction in bodybuilders.
Yeah, I mean, unless they're doing some extreme sports like
Yeah,
BMX
I
or
don't know. He had
motocross.
this, yeah, or skiing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Next one. Thanks a lot for the show. For lower estrogens without dropping IGF-1 because of taking GH, which AI is the most effective?
Well, SARMs, I want to say that SARMs are not good for SARMs are not good for muscle growth because they lower IGF-1, okay, and tamoxifen especially. And also clomiphene, they showed that giving clomiphene to kids lower IGF-1. But I believe anastrozole is the less potent and the less harm among the three aromatase inhibitors we have, letrozole and exemestane. Exemestane especially is a suicidal inhibitor, so it crashes estrogens for quite a while, even after ceasing the use. But letrozole also is quite potent, and anastrozole, I believe, is the less harsh among them. So do it every other day, so 3 milligrams per week.
Anastrozole.
Anastrozole, yes. In case you use testosterone 500 to 1,000 milligrams.
Okay.
Now, if you're using 2 grams of testosterone, you obviously need to elevate the dose of aromatase inhibitors.
Yeah.
But stay away from SERMs, I'm sorry, tamoxifen citrate and clomiphene citrate.
Okay. Cool. Our final question, and this is I'm glad we're ending with this one because I get this question, or I hear this question a lot. Do you believe site injections with test suspension result in localized muscle growth?
No, I don't think so. The only benefit we get is a pseudo uh, increase in the volume of the delt because of the oil we inject.
Yeah.
And for a couple of hours, it's swollen. But this localized effect, it's assumed to occur only under growth factors, so growth hormone or IGF-1.
Yeah.
And in this case, they say that we can fix when is a lack of symmetry. So injecting to the unpec or
Yeah.
to the undel, yes. However, the anabolic steroids work through the bloodstream to all the androgen receptors in the body. So there's no such a localized effect. This is something sounds like bro science. And I heard many guys saying that I injected to my delts and I have a better development of the upper body. I have heard also the other crazy scenario saying I do not inject to my glutes oil because they never get striated, which is bullshit. Okay.
Well, I mean, you do get scar tissue over years because I mean, I used to put everything in the glutes, and I had these big knots. I mean, you could actually see them from the front. That's how pronounced they were, and that was just accumulated
I'll tell
scar
you
tissue.
something. I'll tell you something. I
Yeah.
had a picture of a former Mr. Olympia from last year, so I'm not going to tell his name. And
Okay.
he has two huge lumps in his outer glutes.
Yeah.
This guy is known as the master of definition. Okay, you know what's his nickname.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
he had two large lumps. That means oily injections. Okay,
Right.
intramuscular abscess, but his glutes were
Scarred.
striated.
Mm.
So I don't think it's going to affect. Maybe the aesthetic part.
Yeah, it's
Maybe.
going to look weird. You know,
Yeah.
I remember Iris Kyle one year at the Ms. International. They scored her down just because she had like an abscess in her glute
Yeah.
from a bad shot, which was terrible because she was clearly the winner, but I think they ended up putting her in third place.
Same happens somewhere here when they have something like a walnut. Huh?
Yeah, it looks rough. So you're
Or
telling me IGF-1 can legitimately make any muscle part grow? Like if I
yes,
could
an
have,
MGF also, an MGF, mechano growth factor, and
right.
insulin-like growth factor. They act similarly,
Hmm.
and they supposedly uh, lead to localized muscle growth.
So if I had enough of that stuff, I could have arms like Rolly Winkler or Phil Heath.
But I'm sure that in these levels, they also inject local prostaglandins as PG2, prostaglandins 2.
Hmm.
I heard that this is what Baito was using,
Hmm.
but led him to autoimmune disease vasculitis.
Oh, geez. Hmm.
Yeah, he was he was trying to beat Flex
Hmm.
Lewis, and he pushed it to the limit. And I heard from people who were trained by the same coach that he was inducing prostaglandin. They are horribly painful,
Wow.
and then you start to make a new muscle by localized inflammation.
But you
But
might die.
some other agents like local synthol oil,
Yeah.
I believe in most of the Olympians or the FB's prof, first, certainly, they're
Hmm.
using MCTs injectable, as Connor said, to all the body parts, even in the traps, even in the lats. The point is how to introduce this to make it look normal.
Yeah. You also have to have somebody to do all that for you because
And also,
people
there
can
was,
reach.
huh?
I said they must have helpers doing it for them, somebody, because
Absolutely, yes.
I can't
And
reach. I
there
can't
are
reach
rumors
anything.
that one of the three uncrowned Olympians, I'm not going to tell who,
Mm.
has still silicone implants in his calves. Permanent.
Mm. Yeah.
Permanent. I'm sorry. Permanent. Yes, permanent.
I think I
That
know who you
because
mean.
black people are not blessed with calves.
No,
So he
no.
had those silicone implants, and one of the three, one other of there were three, but one was using. The other told me, "Hey, you're using this." So yes,
Well,
was
this is
complaining.
actually that was a well-known story because Sean
Yeah.
Ray went to the authorities and
You
demanded
said
the
it.
X. He
You
wanted
said
an
it.
X-ray of Flex Wheeler's calves, and
Come
they
on, you
did.
said it. No, you said it. Yeah.
No, no, it was in the magazines. It was
This is
all
of course.
everybody knows about that because people got mad that Sean. They got mad at Sean for trying to get Flex in trouble, and they couldn't find. I guess they couldn't find the implants on an X-ray, so everything was.
You
They
couldn't find
didn't.
him.
I guess not, because they took him. As far as I know, they did take Flex and make him get X-rays, and they couldn't see any implants in the X-ray. So I don't know. Maybe I don't know what the deal was. I wasn't there, but it was a well-known story. I'm not telling
There are
any.
also rumors
I'm
that
not
Flex
telling any secrets.
he had the perfect delts,
Mm,
round delts, without without the striations of Lebroni or Coleman
mm.
or the hardness of Dorian, and there were assumptions that he was injecting oil.
I think he even went on record to say that toward the end, like when he was trying to beat Ronnie, the 2 years he was second to Ronnie, 98 and 99, he had a very artificial look to his shoulders and arms. He looked like there was a lot of oil in there.
Do
They
you
were
remember
just,
that his forearms were disproportional to his arms?
yeah, his forearms are very, very thin, and then he had these monstrous biceps and
But
triceps.
it doesn't tell you, it doesn't remind you of Greg Valentino?
A little bit, yeah. I mean, no one's ever put synthol in their forearms. I guess the tissue is too dense, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't even try it, but it's.
And also, it won't look beautiful, but in the round muscles here, round bellies of delts.
Hmm.
And there were some speculations that Jay Cutler tried to do this in 2012 and he got this injury.
Yeah. I mean, supposedly it was a bicep tear doing a photo shoot, but people will debate these things forever. Anyway, well, Doc, it was again. I have to thank you on camera for buying lunch for me, Giles, and Hector. Thank you very
Well,
much. That's what a nice guy Dr. George is. I mean, wow, he didn't have to do that. It was so cool meeting you and sharing the Olympia experience because you were around pretty much when
he
all the.
introduced me to Steve later.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So it was a
Yes.
good time, man. It was a good time. I'm glad you made it out there.
I
Uh,
hope I'll see you at the Arnold also. I decided
I'll
to
be
go.
there. I'll be there for sure. And maybe Dr. Tom might make it out this time.
Yes, he's
Yeah.
close to Arnold.
If so, I want to get an interview with both of you at the same time. I think that'd be
Yes.
cool. We
Yeah.
could make that a show or something. All right, one more time, everybody. I want to encourage you to pick up this book, Bodybuilding: The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. That is available on Dr. George's website, gtool.com, gtoul.com, as well as amazon.com. Keep those questions coming. Put them in the comments section under the video here on YouTube, or go to Muscular Development on the Noble forums. We have a thread that's always there. It says questions for Dr. T. It's a sticky thread. You can put your questions there, and the doctor will get to them because he's all about trying to help. He's been doing a great job. This is show number 28. That's how long we've been doing this. 28 weeks in a
Yeah.
row. Almost.
28 plus 3 before we started. So it's 31 here.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Dr. George, thank you so much.
You're
Appreciate you
welcome.
doing the show every week. Guys, we appreciate you all watching the show, and we'll see you next time.